number one, it was in the middle of nowhere at the time. And you could have no friends. And no, I couldn't even see a house. I mean, and to be there all alone, I'd lock the doors. I was afraid most of the time. The back door had a window this big in it. So I put my hand through it one day. And so, I mean, there was nowhere to feel safe if I was alone. I felt safe if the boys were around. But
Were you alone a lot?
I was alone a lot. Because my mother got a job.
That?
Well, I'll tell you something I did. Well, I did it several times, but my brothers were old enough that, they'd come home with some friends. Somebody'd drop them off, or maybe, I don't know. They'd be there and they wouldn't be there. I did never know if they were going to be there. And so I'd look on the bus if they're there. If they weren't there, I finally got so I'd just get off the bus and walk to my grandmother's house because I was terrified. I just got so I just thought I just can't go home again by myself. It was a big long lane, so if anybody turned in, you knew they were coming to your house. They're not going to see anybody else, so you're there by yourself. And people did all the time to get water. There was a time when radiators would heat up or whatever, flat tires, and we're the only place from, wherever, Mountain Home to Boise, and they'd pull in, and all kinds of people would pull in our driveway, and I just pray they didn't come to the door. I just go hide in my closet and pray they'd leave. And sometimes they did. Nothing ever bad happened to me. But when I was like 12, 13, 14, I just thought, I'm not going home. And my mother might be working, she might be shopping. I didn't know, but I did think if my grandmother's not there, my aunt would probably be there, more than likely, Daryl, because they lived not far from my grandmother. And I walked from, I don't know if you can even imagine how far this is this one time, but I looked around and it was just to go up you went up the New York Canal, which went like this up a hill, and you could fall in the canal. It's so scary on a car or bus or anything. And then it would get on the big highway and go out. So it was your last place you could get off, or you'd be on the highway. And I remember thinking and looking, and I thought, is he there? They weren't back there. And I just got off and walked all the way to my grandmother's house, which is probably, I don't know how far. It's clear across Boise. It's next to, it's clear across Boise. I'm on the outskirts here, and that's the outskirts there. And I just thought, I'll just walk to my grandmother's. And I probably did. But if my mother, I'd always stop at the Bon Marché and see if she's at work. And if she was, then I was fine. And a lot of times she'd be there, and sometimes she wouldn't. But my grandmother always was there, bless her heart. She'd be gone sometimes to my cousins. And I'd think, yike. But I'd just sit on her step then. I would have sat on her step till she got there. Or go down to my uncle and aunt's house. And one time I had to stop at their house because she wasn't there. But my aunt was so sweet. My uncle would say, I'll take you home, don't worry. They were just sweet, sweet, sweet. So I had them as kind of a backup. But it took me till after 9 o'clock. I mean, I'm walking across that whole city. But I knew my way. I mean, I knew it perfectly. So it wasn't a big deal. And I just go by and see if she's at the Bon Marché. If she wasn't, I walked to my grandma's. But it just got to be, oh my gosh, I got a car. I thought, oh my heavens, this is the best thing ever. I could go home or not go home. And I usually didn't go home. I'd just wait till I knew somebody would be there. My mom would get home at 9 if she worked late. And, the boys would be there. So I'd wait sometimes until, I'd do things. I'd do fun things. Go to somebody's house or, shop or something. But it was just, and it wasn't like bad things happened there. It was just lonely. And the coyotes, when I was little, my mom would open the windows and leave the screen on. But if you've ever heard a coyote, it's the most lonesome sound ever. And I think, oh my gosh, I just put my head under the pillow. Couldn't stand it. It scared me. It just scared me. It was just scary. You think about it. I remember one night, this is a story I shouldn't tell you because it's so stupid. But a car pulled in real slow, and it was dark, and I was there alone. Nobody's there. It's about 9 o'clock, just dusk, and it pulls in so slow, just like so slow. It doesn't pull up and park and come and hop, just poking. And I thought, and it was one of those Buicks. I don't know if you've ever seen one. It was a new van. It looked like a Beetle, like that. And it was dark colored. And I couldn't see who was in it. But they pulled up to the driveway and just sat there. And there was a guy in there. And he just sat there and sat there and sat there for probably 2 hours, hour and a half. And I thought, if he gets up to come, I'm going to run and get in the closet, which wouldn't save me anyway. It's just a teeny little closet. But anyway, I would have, and I wouldn't have answered the door. But he sat there and sat there and sat there and sat there for probably an hour and a half. And I thought, what is he doing? What is he thinking? And then here comes my dad. And he pulls up next to him and it's a big hi, hello, and they're talking and everything. He says, where you been? I've been waiting for you. I only had a heart attack, but, it's just like, oh my gosh. I wouldn't do it again for $1 million. Not $1 million or 2 or 3. I just don't want to be that scared again. It was just terrifying.